Hey guys, so this video is going to be a lot different. I'm going to be sitting down just the entire video right here talking to you guys. Sorry if it's a little far away, and sorry I'm in sweats, but it'll be a long video, so if you want to grab some snacks and a little drink and just sit here and listen, that'd be awesome. I get this question literally all the time, and it's, how was your BMT experience? Or like, how was BMT? And I always just say, like, it sucked, it was ass, like, that's all I say. I don't go into detail, I'm just kind of like, yeah, it sucked, like, we woke up early, worked out, blah, 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 blah. But I wanted to sit down and, like, actually explain, like, what you do in BMT. This is just for you guys, like, if anyone is looking into joining, like, the Air Force, Air National Guard, Air Reserve, anything, like, we all go through the same training, and, like, this was my experience. This is all my opinion on, like, what we went through. So, like, I'm gonna put some of my opinion in it, but I'm also just gonna be straight up, like, this is what we did. But just a lot of people ask me about this, and there's one night I was with my friends in Bowling Green, and I, like, told them, like, all the details about, like, what I went through and, like, every single little detail we had to do, and they were just mind blown about, like, everything that we had to do. And it just kind of, like, hit me. I was like, whoa, like, I went through that, and, like, people want to know, like, what I went through. Like, one of my friends, her name is Maddie, she's looking into joining, and she really wants to join, and I've pretty much convinced her to join. And, like, I told her everything, like, you have to go through this, like, are you gonna be okay with this? And, like, telling her about it helped her to make her decision, because, like, this is something big you have to go through first before you can actually, like, be a part of something that's so much bigger than yourself. And, like, it's the best decision I've ever made. I obviously didn't make it on my own. I had others that pushed me to do it, others that told me about it and everything. But so starting off, the reason I joined was, a lot of people don't know, but I applied for college. Well, everyone knows I applied for college, but applied for colleges. Sorry, I'm so out of breath. I don't know why. But, so, I applied for a couple of schools. My first choice was Ohio State University. Well, the Ohio State University. That was my dream. That's been my dream since I was little, to go there. I've always been a Buckeye fan, like, love football, everything. And I remember sitting in my bed. It was, like, midnight, just checking, like, everything before I went to bed. And I checked my email, and it was my refusal letter that I did not get accepted into OSU. Broke my heart. Worst thing, not worst things that ever happened to me, but, like, I was heartbroken. Then I was like, I don't know what I want to do. Like, that's the only place I really wanted to go. Like, you know, I still had other options. Like, I really want to go to OU, Ohio University. Like, I had Bowling Green, I had UT, but didn't want to go to UT at all. Like, kind of liked Bowling Green, blah, blah, blah. But then, my ex-boyfriend's dad was in the Air National Guard, and, he told me about it, and he kept just, like, telling me about it, like, oh, like, this is an option, like, blah, 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 blah. I ended up doing my research on it, absolutely loved it, chose to do it. I would never go back and change my decision. So then, I, like, waited to see, like, what job I wanted, did some research on jobs, like, saw what was open at my base, blah, blah, blah. Found my job, chose material management. It's supply for our base. We, like, order parts, issue parts, do inventories, we do back orders, we do kills, we work in the hangar with the airplanes. That's where I work. I work in the hangar and supply all the parts for the airplanes. So, like, when I see one of those airplanes, like, fly up in the sky, I know I was a part of that because I gave them the parts to fix the plane to be able to fly. But chose my job, went, like, literally, like, the day after, I was like, I want to enlist right now. Went and I enlisted, and it was just one of those, like, wow, like, I'm doing this moments, because after you enlist, you can't go back. You don't have a choice. You have to go through with your choice now. And so I enlisted in March, the end of March, right before I left for spring break, and they said my, like, estimated BMT date was sometime in, like, the summer, or, like, end of summer, and I was hoping it would be, like, after my birthday, but it wasn't. And I just remember we had our senior assembly at school, where like they announce scholarships and they like give you cords and like pins and all this stuff. And that's when I got my military cords, because I was going into the military, into the Air Force. And it was just such a big day, like getting those red, white, and blue cords. It was just like, what an awesome feeling to stand up in front of your school and have them give you a standing ovation for doing what you chose to do. Like, I wasn't forced to do this at all. Like, I chose to do this. Like, I want to serve my country and protect those that I love. And that feeling was amazing. And I just remember we got let out of school early, and I'm just driving. I remember the exact place I was driving, like the exact road, the exact stuff I was passing, and I got a phone call, and it's one of the sergeants from my base, and they said that they got my BMT dates, and I was leaving on July 3rd, the day before the 4th of July. And it hit me so hard, and I was like, oh my god, this is happening. And so I said, okay, like, I'm doing this. And so for the like remainder of summer, like this was like a month before July 3rd, the remainder of summer I just did everything I could just to have fun with friends, make memories, like, before I left, because I knew I wasn't going to be coming back for a while. And so, like, had fun and everything. And then July 2nd rolls up, and like I remember just like all my friends came over, saying goodbye to my friends, everyone like posting on their Snapchat stories about me, like, I'll see you in 4 months, because BMT is 2 months and my tech school is 2 months, so I want to be home for 4 months. And you know, like, it was kind of emotional. Like, I was just trying to be like optimistic about everything and like just like be happy, saying bye to everyone. And then I remember going to bed July 2nd and waking up early because I had to go to the airport, and it was just the worst car ride ever, driving there, like, worst car ride. And we get there, like, check in, everything, like, go through security, blah blah blah, and we're just standing in the terminal waiting to board the plane, and they let military members board planes first if they're on active orders, and I was, and they called that, they're like, anyone like on active military orders can board the plane. And it felt like the entire world just stopped, and like every single thing in my body just dropped, and I just started crying because I was like, I don't want to go, like, I can't do this. But I was like, no, I'm gonna. And so I waited a little bit for like my actual terminal to be called, and then, you know, I said bye to everyone that was there that went with me, and I boarded the plane. And I just remember sitting there like on the plane just crying, and I was sitting next to a random kid, and he was probably like, what is wrong with this girl, like, but we ended up talking, and he was really cool. Like, he was like a little kid that was like 13. I got off the plane and got service again, and like everyone was still texting me like, goodbye, like, good luck, blah blah blah. And then we go to USO, which is like a little like military room and stuff you can go to at airports, and went in there, found out the bus wasn't coming for 6 hours to pick us up, so then I had more time to talk to people, which was nice. But I just remember the sergeant busting into the room and saying, everybody get your stuff and get in a single file line. And so everyone grabbed their backpacks, got into the line, and then we lined up in the lobby, put us in lines. They said, you have 60 seconds to call whoever you need to and tell them that you're getting on the bus and you have to turn your phone off and you won't talk to them for 3 days. I whip my phone out and I call my mom, and I'm like, Mom, I'm getting on the bus right now, like, I love you, I will talk to you soon. And I hung up and I turned my phone off. I just remember sitting there like waiting to get on the bus. Then we get on the bus. My bus driver was awesome. His name was Coach. If anybody has gone to BMT and is watching this and you guys had Coach, you just know how awesome Coach was. And he just gave us the most awesome motivational speech, and like right before we got there, and I remember just getting off the bus, just getting screamed at right away, like, hurry up, you're taking too long, like, blah blah blah, having to like line up. And then like we just like, it was like 11 o'clock at night, and we go into this classroom having to fill out all this paperwork, like having to put our phones in this bag to be like locked away, like we're never gonna see our phone again for like ever, and like just getting all this stuff, like getting all this stuff issued to us, blah blah blah. And then they took us upstairs and they're like, okay, you guys can go to bed, because like it was late and they can't keep you up like too long on your first night. It's like a rule now. So we just, like, they take us into our dorm and they said pick a bed. So I got a single bed because I was like, I'm not getting a bunk bed, because it's 2 bays, each has 30 beds, and so you just kind of went in, you just picked a bed, and they were like, okay, go to bed. So then we went to bed. I remember getting woken up the next morning so early, and just everything was just, I was like, what is going on? Like, I was just like, I'm here, like, it just blew my mind. And the second day, like, literally, like, after you go through everything, you just don't really remember what happened so early on. But I just remember, like, it was the 3rd day. We got to call one family member. We had like 2 minutes to do it. We had a script on a piece of paper that said, hi, I'm okay, get a pen and paper. And then we gave them our address for them to send us letters. And I remember my mom was at work, and I said hi, and she went, oh my god, and I said get a pen and paper, and she started screaming at work, like, someone get me a pen and paper, oh my god, freaking out and everything. And I read off the address, and then she read it back to me so that I could hear, like, to make sure she got it right. And you weren't allowed to say anything else. If you said anything else, like, our MTIs would scream at us. And I just remember them saying, like, you have 30 seconds left, and then she was, like, reading it back to me, and then they were like, hang up the phones now, and I said, I love you, goodbye, and she said, I love you. And that was, like, the last time I got to talk to any of my family. And then, so, like, I think it was, like, the 3rd day we got our uniforms, and, like, being able to put on that uniform was, like, one of the coolest things ever. Yeah, that was just one of the coolest feelings, was putting on that uniform. After that, so, like, 0 week, so it goes by weeks. So, so this actually starts, what BMT is like. So, 0 week, you're learning everything. You're getting your uniform, you're learning how to go through the dining hall, you're learning how to march, they're, like, teaching you facing movements, they're teaching you what to do in the dorms, how to make a bed, how to do your job, how to sit in a classroom, like, everything is, like, to the T, this is how you do it. So, when you wake up in the morning, they wake you up at 5:45 every single morning. Sometimes you wake up at 5 if you had, like, appointments. Sometimes you wake up at 3 if you had details to do, which is, like, jobs, and I'll go into that later. But, you'd wake up, you'd have 5 minutes to, like, brush your teeth, go to the bathroom. You'd already have your PT clothes on because that's what you slept in. Like, put your hair up, brush your hair, like, put deodorant on, get your reflective belt, because you had to wear your reflective belt when it was dark outside, get your flashlight, and put your tennis shoes on. Like, swear to God, like, they'd be banging on the door, because we had male MTIs, so they couldn't come in our room, or into our dorm, until everyone was dressed. So they were banging on the door, like, hurry up, hurry up. And then as soon as everyone was dressed, they could come in, and they're like, okay, get up, lined up on the wall. You'd always have to line up on the wall before you could leave. And so then we would leave, and we'd always want to beat our brother and cousin flights. So, MT, you're in squadrons, and there's 6 squadrons. 2 of them are Alcatraz, which are the old dorms, and then 4 of them are Disneyland, which are the new dorms. I was in the old dorms. I was in Alcatraz, 322nd, second to none. Each of them had their own little, like, sayings. We were second to none, come get some, pride, character, and excellence. I absolutely loved my squadron, like, best squadron ever, hands down. And in the squadron, there's, like, different stairwells, which are called sections. They're called sections. We were section 1, Voodoo, and there was 4 flights in our stairwell, so, like, 4 dorms. And it was 1 girl dorm, which was us, and then 3 guy dorms. We were on the 2nd level with our brother flight, and then there was 2 above us that were our cousin flights. And so in the mornings, you would always just, like, run down the stairs to try to beat everyone else's flight so that you could be the first ones out. It was always just kind of like a little competition. But you'd have to run outside, form up, and you'd have to do what's called, like, taller tap to, like, get the flight sized. And then you'd have to march over to the PT area. And then you'd PT, well, you'd warm up, you'd say the Airman's Creed, the Air Force song, and then you'd PT. You'd either do a strength day, which is like pretty much calisthenics, just using your body weight, like push-ups, sit-ups, all that kind of stuff. Or you do a run day, which you would do 6 minutes of sprints, like on and off 30-second sprints, and then you do a 26-minute self-paced run. You would get a run belt from your PT test, like determining what level of running you were in. It went like blue is the fastest, then green, yellow, and red. Red was really bad, like you didn't want a red belt. And I was a blue belt. How? I don't know, because I suck at running. And then you would run in your lane with like those runners. And I would always be like the slowest person running in the blue belt one, because like I don't know why I had a blue belt. But so yeah, there was that. And then after that you had like, you'd either go eat or you'd go shower and then eat, or you'd like, obviously other way around, whatever. So you'd have like 5 minutes of shower. We had 8 shower heads for 49 girls in my flight. You would all have to just go in there, shower. Like, you probably didn't even have time to wash your hair. You just kind of had to wash your body with soap and then go change into your uniform. And then you'd go eat. And then, so like the dining hall, you had to wait outside to go into the dining hall. And what's called a chow runner. You never want to be a chow runner if you go to BMT. Swear to God, don't be a chow runner. They're the worst. Like, worst job. You have to go in and report to the snake pit, which is like where all the MTIs sit. You have to report in and say like your flight is ready to eat. And they always yell at you. They always yell at you for your face movements, all that. And they come out and then they call your flight in to come eat. So you go in, you have to sign in so they know you came to eat. And then you have to go through a line. And in the chow hall, it's like a buffet. You have your tray, and you have to have your hands on the tray like this, and you have to step 12-inch steps, heel to heel, across the line. And you can't look anywhere. You have to look straight. If you turn your head to the side or anything, they'd scream at you. They'd literally scream from across the entire room and tell you to look forward. You couldn't point at food. You'd have to say like what you wanted. And then they'd give you your food, and then you have to go. And the chow runners also tell you where to sit to eat, and if you got that wrong, they'd literally end your life if you sat in the wrong spot. So you had to sit in the right spot. You had to sit down. For each meal, you had to drink 2 glasses of water, no matter what, and eat your food. And you had like 5 minutes to eat. As soon as like people in your table started standing up to like be done, like you had to be done. Like, you don't have a choice. If you weren't done eating, it doesn't matter. And then also, it was one of our MTI's preferences, but when we ate, we had to put our hand on the table like this and eat, or like whichever hand you weren't using had to be on the table, and you had to eat so fast and then get out, and then you had to march back over the dorm to do whatever we had next. It always varied from like appointments, like we'd have like doctor's appointments or some kind of like teaching thing, or we'd have classes, or like just like random stuff throughout the day. And like in classes, you had to, there were so many like specific things, like you'd have to sit at attention before like anyone came in, and then they'd call you to at ease. And like if you fell asleep, like good luck to you, because like that's one of the worst. Like, for getting yelled at is falling asleep in class. See, I didn't mind classes. I liked learning all this stuff, but I don't know, the classes weren't bad. And then like appointments weren't that bad, but you'd have to march literally everywhere. You'd probably march like 5 miles a day. I might be exaggerating, but I'm probably not. Like, we marched so much. And you have to march at attention, which is like facing forward. Like, your arms have to be like literally straight like this, your wrist turned down, your hands cupped like this, and like you're not supposed to bounce. Like, you're literally marching like this. I'm not inserting a clip of me doing it because I suck at it, but marching at attention, like to a beat, like they literally are like left, 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 right, left, like literally like that, like you see in movies. Like, we marched. And like sometimes they would call jodies, which are like little songs that you would march to, and like those were a lot of fun. Like, my flight really liked those. But yeah, you'd march everywhere. And then like obviously you'd take breaks for chow, and then sometimes you would just be like in your dorm like cleaning, or like folding your laundry, or just working on our jobs, or like stuff like that. And my job was laundry crew. Okay, I say I loved my job, but I also hated my job. So like doing laundry was awesome because you got to in Alcatraz, the laundry rooms weren't in your dorm. They were in a like completely separate like building. And so you literally got to get away from all of the chaos of BMT and literally just go sit in this building with just other people in BMT and just be able to sit there and study and like talk to people. You weren't supposed to talk to people, but like you still did, because like you just have your book open and then you could talk to people and pretend like you were studying. That's how I got to know like so many people from my brother and cousin flights, which was really awesome. But it was just like that moment away from the chaos. But also laundry sucked because people would always come to me like, hey, where's my laundry? Hey, I lost a t-shirt, where's it at? Hey, like my laundry didn't get done. Like, oh, sorry, like not my problem, like you deal with it, like you go find your shirt, or like maybe next time I collect laundry, like maybe you should put your laundry in the laundry basket. Like stupid stuff, but like it was a good job because other people had like latrine, which is the bathroom. You call the bathroom the latrine. Why? I don't freaking know. But yeah, so we would do like sometimes just jobs, or we would just fold laundry, like clean our lockers, like because we got locker inspections, just like all that kind of stuff, or we would just study. And then when it came to the end of the day, we had what's called airman's time, which is like when we would just sit in our day room, which is just like our open room, just sit on the floor. Our MTI would pass out our mail, which was like the best time of the day, was like getting mail. And then we would just sit there and like he would let us ask whatever questions we wanted to him, like literally anything, like his Air Force experience, where he grew up, what did he do in high school, like literally the most random questions, like what's your favorite gum? We asked the stupidest questions to him, but it was because we had nothing else to do. Like we had no other entertainment than like talking to other people. And so like that was a lot of fun. And then like he would go into his office and then we got to do like kind of whatever. We would pretty much just clean and do our jobs, and we would do dust downs. It's called dust downs and details. Dust downs was when you like dusted everything in your area, because we have dust covers as blankets, which not the best, but you had to do dust downs. And then details, which is your job, and you do your job, and then they had to be out of your dorm by 8:30. So after 8:30 it was kind of like our personal time, and we could open up letters, we could write letters, and we could go send letters. So you didn't have that much time to do it, so you kind of like snuck it throughout the day, like found like time that you could like sneak and write like a letter underneath your book or something like that. And then you could like go march over to the mailbox and put them in the mailbox to send them. I wrote letters every single day because like that was what got me through it, was hearing from people at home. There was like a select few people I would write every single day, of course, and then like whenever I got letters from other people, I would respond to them like when I had time to. I tried to write people as much as I possibly could because like it helped me so much, and I still have every single letter I got in BMT and this accordion because like I will cherish those forever because like those meant so much to me. But then you would shower every night. You would shower every morning and night if you had PT. But you would shower, and then lights out was at 9, and you'd go to bed, and then you'd wake up the next morning and do it all over again. But also throughout the day and throughout the night, you have what's called EC duty, entry controller. You'd have to be in charge of the door. The door was always locked to the dorm, but you'd have to be in charge of the door for 2 hours with another person and make sure it's locked, make sure everyone's lockers are locked, and pretty much just like control the safety of the dorm. And you also had to do it at night. The best. But sometimes when you were sleeping, sound asleep because you had such a long day, you would get woken up at 2 o'clock in the morning to do EC duty, and you had to stand there with your M16, right? Is that what it's called? M16? Yeah, M16 strapped to your shoulder. It's a fake M16. It was a trainer, but you'd have to stand there with your M16, and you'd have to check the bathroom every 10 minutes or write it on this little log, and you'd have to like just all this stuff. Like it was just, EC duty sucked. No one liked doing it. It was a pain in the butt. I would wake up every morning and just do it all over again. But so that's pretty much a daily basis. But so first week there was nothing really fun. It was pretty much just learning everything. Second week is when we got, what was the thing we had second week? But like each week there's kind of something to look forward to. I think second week we had what's called a patio break, which is like the patios have like what are those called? Like concession machines, like machines that you can get like snacks and everything out of. And we got like a 45-minute patio break. It was mandatory, so like we could go buy candy and chips and pop and ice cream, which is like what they don't have in the DFAC. And it was the best thing ever, and you could just sit there, eat your candy, and write letters. So that was really awesome to look forward to. And then third week, we had, we got our name tapes, which is like your name on your uniform, which is like the coolest feeling, getting your last name on your uniform next to like Air Force. So awesome. We all freaked out when we got them. And then also third week, we got a 15-minute phone call where we got our cell phone and got to call anyone we wanted. And that was awesome. I talked to my parents and I talked to my ex and his family, which was like just awesome, just getting to hear everyone's voices and like just hear like actually on the phone how everyone was doing and not in a letter. Fourth week we had what's called a base liberty, which is when you can go march around the base within restrictions, and you could go to the mini mall and you could get Subway or Domino's or Arby's, or you could go like to the little mall area and buy a bunch of snacks and just like eat whatever you wanted. And those were awesome, but we only got one of them, which kind of sucked, but that was really awesome to look forward to. And then fourth week we also went to Seaburn, which is the gas chamber, which everyone freaks out, like, oh my god, you went through a gas chamber, but like I loved it. I would do it again. I think it was so cool. But you learn how to like put on the entire mop gear, like the whole gas suit, the gas mask, everything, and then you actually get to go in. And when you go in, you have your gas mask on, you get in there, and they explain like everything you have to do, and then when they tell you to, you loosen your gas mask, like you pull the little straps, and then you sit there and you can kind of feel like the gas starting to like seep in, and then they say, okay, on the count of 3 you're gonna pull your mask off and say your reporting statement, which is, Sir Trainee Zoologue reports his orders. And so you hold it right here, and they go 1, 2, 3, you pull it off and you pull it to your chest, and you say, Sir Trainee Zoologue reports his orders. And you sit there for a second, and then it all just hits you, like all this just gas on your face, like your eyes start instantly like watering, like you're coughing, like, and they don't let you go until they see everyone's eyes are open and everyone has taken a breath, so they know no one was holding their breath. And then they say, okay, you're good, go, and everyone's running out, everyone's coughing, people are throwing up, like people are crying, and you have to have your arms out like this so you don't touch your face, because there's obviously gas on your hands, so they don't want you to touch your face. And like everyone's freaking out, and I just walk out, and like I had like tears coming down my face, because like your eyes just instantly tear, but I was laughing coming out like this, and everyone was like, is this girl okay, like is she on something? But like I loved it. I thought it was fun. It was like one of the coolest experiences ever. And then also I believe third week we also got our blues, which is our like dress uniform. That was really cool. But fifth week we went to Beast, which is a like mock deployment. You live in a tent for 5 days. They're air conditioned, if your air conditioning works, but they probably don't. And like this was all in Texas. I probably should have mentioned that. It's in Texas, it's in San Antonio. I went in the summer. It was like 100 degrees outside, and we're in our full uniform that's long sleeve and long pant, wearing combat boots. And we had to live in tents, like, and it was like a desert like situation, so it was all sand. It was just tents. There was no shade, there was no nothing, and you just had to, we learned like different deployment situations. We learned how to like defend a gate. We learned like all that stuff you would have to do in a deployment. And we also got to do some fun stuff, like we got to do an obstacle course, which is called the Claw. So much fun. Like the end of it, you do this rope swing, which is actually like the claw, and they toss you a rope and you have to grab it and you swing across the pool, and it like it's kind of like a challenge to see if you can make it across or if you fall in. I fell in. because I grabbed it and I had it, but my legs hit the water and it pulled me in. Just imagine being in a full uniform and combat boots soaking wet. It was so funny. And then you also got to go to CADM, which is the shooting range. You got to shoot M16s, and it was kind of like a challenge to see if you could get marksman, which is like an award for shooting. I didn't get it, but it was really hard to get. But yeah, we got to do all that during Beast, so like those were fun, but just like being at Beast in the sand, and like there was scorpions and snakes and spiders, and like it was hot, it was just not okay. And we also had to do EC duty there too, in the middle of the night, in the desert, which was freaky because you could hear like wolves howling, at least I did, and like you never know if there's like a snake like coming up next to you. But it was also like a challenge to see who could win Beast Week. You won like a little award, Beast Excellence. We didn't win, but it's like rigged pretty much to have like the same one win every single week. It's so stupid. But then comes along 6th week, you take your flight photo and you get to do your headshot, which is really cool. Like getting your like official military headshot was awesome. You got your second phone call. You get 2 phone calls. That was when your second one was, just to make sure your family had everything figured out for when they came down for graduation. You also take your EOC end of course test. And I got a 90 on it, so I was eligible for honor grad. You have to have a 90 or above to get eligible for honor grad. And then we also took our final PT test. I got a 99.8 on my final PT test. I was very mad because the only thing I didn't get was my run, of course. But I was very proud of myself for that. And then pretty much the rest of the week, you're just getting ready for graduation. And 7th week, you practice graduation, you practice like the Quinn ceremony, you practice parade, you practice like all of that. And you also compete for Commander's Excellence, which is like a thing to see like who is the best flight in your week group. And there's probably like, I want to say 15 flights, give or take, in your week group. So all of the awards that me and my flight won, I didn't get the highest PT award, but I got the second highest, like for getting a 90 or above, so like that was awesome. I didn't get honor grad, which like that's okay, but my flight got top female PT, and that means like we had the highest overall like average PT score for our entire flight against all the other girl flights. We also got Commander's Excellence not only for our squadron but also for the wing, which is like overall. So we were the best flight in our week group, and we made history to be the first flight ever from our squadron to win it, which is like amazing. And so we were really proud of ourselves for that. And we got to paint a mural in our dorm, which is so cool. We were really proud of ourselves for that, because we worked really hard to get there. You have to go through so many different things and score really high on all these different things to even be eligible to go for it. But then 7th week, Thursday, you have coin ceremony. And this is the first time, oh no, back it up. You have the Airman's Run, which is when you're finally, like that day, when you're becoming an airman, and you wear your squadron PT shirt, and this is the first time you ever see your family, or whoever's there to see you. And you run like around this thing, and you come back around, and then you run like again, and you're just running in your flight, like you're running at attention. So you're in formation and you're singing Jodi's, you're just going. And we were the first flight out to run, which was like awesome. And it was right after we found out we had won Commander's Excellence too, because you find out that morning. We were all just so happy, like everything was going well. And I just remember running, and I was on the outside, and I see my parents, and they're holding up a banner for me, and like I just want to tell them like I did this, and like I am strong. And so I did not cry. Like I saw them, I didn't smile, I didn't cry, I didn't do anything. I just saw them, and like they saw, like we made eye contact, but I was in the zone like he said we had to be. And then we had to run back, get changed, like shower, eat. We got to have a snack, and then you would get ready for coin ceremony, which is when you receive your airman's coin, and you're like officially an airman and not a trainee anymore. And when you're done, you stand there and you have to be tapped out by your family, and this is the first time you ever get to like physically be in contact with your family. So I'm standing there, and the entire time during the coin ceremony, mind you, my family was right there, like 10 feet away from me. They knew exactly where I was going to stand because I told them, and the entire time I can just see them, and they're trying to make me laugh because you had to be serious, and my dad yells, "Don't laugh, Corinne," when it was dead silent. So, almost lost my military bearing, but I didn't. But that was awesome, and you have to stand there at attention. You can't move. You have to wait for your family to come and tap you. And I just remember seeing my family coming up, and they just stood there for a second, and they just hugged me, and I could move, and it was just like one of the best moments ever, just getting to see them, like getting to just finally have contact with people. And like we got a base lib for the day. You could go like eat food, you could go like walk around base with your family, blah blah blah. And I got to also see my grandparents, and I got to see my ex and his family, which was really awesome. I loved just getting to see them and everything. Also, my ex's dad was the person who told me about the Air National Guard, and he's the one that swore me in and everything. So just having him there, after him being there in the beginning when I enlisted, and then having him be there when I graduated, was just like a really awesome moment for me, and I was really happy for him to be there. But then the next day, like after we like got back and everything, the next day we had parade, which is like when you're like on the parade grounds in your blues, and it's just kind of like you get to show off, like, I did this. It's really cool, and you get tapped out again, and we took a bunch of pictures like on the field because it's really pretty. And then you get to go on Town Pass, which is like when you get to go downtown. You can go to the river walk, you can go out to eat, you can go to the mall, you can go to an amusement park, you can do like a bunch of stuff just like with your family or with everyone that's there, which is really awesome. And I just got to spend a lot of time with everyone, and go back to people's hotels and like just relax and just like spend time with everyone. And you got to do that for 3 days, and then you have to say goodbye again, and you go through Airman's Week, which is a week of just kind of like transitioning. They give you freedom. You go through like just these classes talking about like your experience, like what would you do in this situation, what would you do, blah 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 blah. You just went through all of that, and then at the end of the week they finally give you your certificate, and you're finally done. And Monday morning you wake up, you finally get your phone back, like officially. You can't turn it on yet, of course, but you wait for your bus to come to pick you up to take you to tech school, which is the worst wait ever. You get on the bus, you can finally turn your phone on, and my tech school was on the same base, so my bus ride was like 10 minutes. Other people's were like 6 hours, but I got to text my family, I got to text my friends, like tell everyone I'm okay, like I did it, like I finished this, like I literally, like I did it. And I just remember posting like the pictures of me from graduation, and like the amount of love and support I got for it was just like beyond words can like describe. Just like people being proud of me for something, like for doing something that I chose to do, and it was just a really awesome feeling. But I'm not gonna go in about tech school because this is already like the longest video ever. But if you guys watched this far, thank you, because like I'm wanting to make this so bad, just because I want people to know like what I had to go through, and like all of the like intenseness, and like I didn't even mention like anything you did wrong people would scream at you for. Like I'm not kidding, like in your face screaming, like they'd get so mad, and like they'd have these things called 341s where they would write you up, or you could get a derogatory comment, which is even more bad, or you could get a U for the week, which is like extremely bad. And like sometimes you could even get kicked out, you could get discharged, like you could get sent back a week, where you would literally have to stay an entire week more for basic training. Like, you can get in trouble for so many things. So if you did something wrong, like, you were screwed. So like, you always had to do everything right. You had to have so much discipline. You had to like pay attention to detail. Like, it's just everything. Like, it shapes you into a different person. And like, I am sitting here saying, like, I am so proud of the person that I have become from my experience, and I would not go back and change a single thing about it. I am so happy with the person that I am now. Like, I had so much that I was just unhappy with before, like, so many things I wanted to change about myself, like, being less emotional and being just, like, stronger. Like, I was already a pretty strong person, just being stronger and, like, just working on myself and, like, getting more fit and, like, getting my run time up, and, like, I accomplished so many things, just everything, and like, I just couldn't be more proud of myself, and I couldn't be happier that I did that and I chose to do that. And even through all of the hell that it was, and not being able to talk to anyone, only being able to talk to people through a letter that they don't even get for a week, and then you don't even get a response back for a week, like, not having your phone, not having social media, not having anything. All you had was the people in your flight, which was 46, 47 other girls. That's the only people you could talk to, like, and you don't even know them, but you know they're going through the same thing as you, and like, you know that they're the only people there for you. So like, that's really awesome. But yeah, that's what BMT is. If you guys have any other questions, like, feel free to comment under here, or like DM me on Instagram, or Snapchat me, or text me if you know me well. Like, ask me anything. Like, I do not care. Like, I love talking about this. Like, I absolutely love the Air Force, and I hope to make it like a full-time career, like, honestly. But yeah, like, I honestly love it so much, and I'm so sorry that this is such a long video, but I'm happy I made it, and I've been wanting to make it. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys could just like this video if you enjoyed it, or if it helped you make a big decision in your life, and please subscribe for later videos that will probably make about the Air Force. All of it just means so much to me, and I'm just so thankful if you even watch this. But yeah, I will talk to you guys in a later video. Bye, you guys.